this object appears, and you see everyone turning around. It looks like the sun has come up. And this is in a still photograph, and people are turning. And it's your classic sort of spherical energy. Within this is an entire interstellar vehicle with a whole lot of ETs. Now, I wanted to show this, which happened in France, this purple. This is very odd, because this actually was seen by about half the group, and very quickly, oh no, that's the wrong one.
Transdimensional ET.
This is another thing at Shasta. By the way, we have several hundred hours of this stuff. I'm trying to go to France here, 2010, purple field. So this is when the Admiral and all those folks were there. And we're gathering to do this puja, and this object that looks like a big bubble, smoke, and this is me pointing. And you see how I'm pointing, and everyone's turning around because an object had just gone very quickly. And this weird purpley mauve thing is there. Now, it's not quite fully materialized, but it's hovering above the ground just partially in this dimension. And the way it was first seen was almost like if you had a massive soap bubble that had all the colors in it, that just flashes in, flashes out. And people went, what was that? It was seen and felt by everyone looking that way. And this is fascinating. So next. So I wanted to show a few things over, where's the, let's do this, Outer Banks, North Carolina. So this will give you an idea of something that's pretty common. So we're on a national seashore, and there's a highway to the right. This is all sand dunes. This is the ocean here. There's a boat or something out here. And you watch what happens. You hear the noise in the background. That's one of these detectors picking up an anomaly, an electromagnetic field disturbance. And suddenly an object appears in the sky. That's a car on the road, Highway 12. Watch what happens. Beep, beep. Hear it? It lit up, it was orange. This is a night scope camera, third generation. It lit up the ocean. It lit up the sky. The whole thing was this golden orange object that materialized. And then we felt all this intelligence in the circle. It's hard to explain. Very, very unusual and very intense. And then it vanishes. Doesn't move off. Watch. Folds back into space-time. So it emerges into this dimension and then disappears. You will see this. You go out and practice these and watch this one. There. So this happened over and over, and there's another bizarre object. Watch this, and look at the turn it makes. This is not a satellite. Watch. Boom. Satellites don't do that. Not an aircraft. Bow. And then dematerializes. This is with a third generation night scope. So these sort of things have happened thousands and thousands of times. And the phenomenon is interesting. What gets more interesting if you're able to go into non-locality of consciousness, remote view what they're doing, what they're saying, because then they're in the circle with you. Sometimes they fully materialize. Risky. They could get killed. But if I'm there. I mean, you know, the good news is when I'm there, I'm there. The bad news is that I'm there. Because there's no way, it's a liability, really. So this is wonderful. I want to show this. This is on our land in Colorado, Crestone, in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and near the Great Sand Dunes. And what's this? Comes right up in front of us. We see it. And it's very similar to that light shift, very etheric, not quite materialized and metallic. It comes up and stops right here. This. So this is very routine, happens very often. It's great that it was actually captured on a camera. Then we'll go next. Oh, prohibited, let me see. Are these fun? You guys like these? Yeah? I want to point out this here in the UK. Yeah. So what was fun about this is that we were going on a daytime expedition, kind of looking around. We would go to crop circles during the day. This is my finger, and I felt this ET craft. Now, with the naked eye, you couldn't see. What's this? So this is me in a cap, because of the sun, I was going to get burned. And my increasingly large forehead tends to get burned. So this is this object, but we could feel it. And so a guy with a very good Nikon camera, very fast speed, daytime, takes it, and this is there. So they're always around, but can you sense them? And then can you photograph them? Yeah, you can. But you got to be awake first. And I don't mean awake in your kind of the animal condition, but awake in this transcendent state. And before I was a medical doctor, I was a meditation teacher. A lot of people may not know that. So while most people were chasing skirts and dropping acid, I was spending 8 hours a day meditating and doing the Vedic cities. And so it helps to spend some time learning what consciousness is. So this is beautiful, beautiful object. So let's go to another one. And I want to, let's see. Let's show a few of these objects at Shasta so you kind of get an idea. Now, when you go out and do this, always, always, always have a satellite chart and a satellite app. Because a lot of people go out, they'll see something that flares up. No, it's a U. I say it's not. It's an Iridium satellite. 99% of the things you see moving up there at night are satellites. This was after there were no satellites. Look what it does. It's this large object. Now, it was a blue-white object, and there's an ET I call Kindness that was introduced to me the day that my assistant, Sherry Adamak, died. And she always comes 3 times at least in Portugal last week. We had this object come in and do this when there were no satellites. It was after any satellites were visible because of how late it was. And so these are very frequent. They happen usually nightly, but you've got to have a satellite chart because if it depends on the time of year. In midsummer, you can have satellites all night, and you've got to be able to rule that out. This is another one, very late. We're up in Mount Shasta, a place called Sand Flat, so we're up at about 7,000 feet. Interestingly, it got down to like 22 degrees Fahrenheit, so below 0 centigrade. But it didn't matter. We still had a lot of beautiful things happen. So there's a whole series of these. We have actually hundreds and hundreds of hours of things that have done this, turned, curved, moved. One of the last nights in Portugal, we had an object where there were 2 objects linked together, moving across, and then it turned and curved over us. Here's another one. Look at the shape of it. It's like a teardrop or diamond object. Now, you can't tell the color on with this. These are all night vision scopes. So everything looks kind of green with those. We're getting to have a camera now, the Sony A7, which I recommend, that's getting some fantastic images. But I just wanted to introduce these concepts to you. Oh, I want to show this one, and this will give you an idea. This will be the last one, and there are others, but we're going to run out of time. Boop. Oh, there were. Because ultimately, people going out and making this happen on your own will create the morphogenic field, the sort of the shift in consciousness that then will make it more likely the governments of the world will finally get their heads out of the sand and do the right thing and just ignore the magic group. Look at this. Yep, that's like 10 feet in front of us we're doing. So an object comes and materializes and goes like a walnut shaped and with a beam going up. Watch this. There's nobody out there. There's no special effects stuff. So very unusual phenomenon, all the way from materialized objects to light objects to something that's like a sphere that puts out a cone of light that has an interstellar ambassador in it. The whole range of things can happen. And in addition to that, all the electronic events. So we've had multiple events where, for example, at Mount Shasta, we had a tone come through the group, and everyone heard it. It was an omnidirectional tone. And as it came through, everyone was in meditation. Everyone could see the spheres of a sphere, like a gunmetal gray to pearl white sphere, zip, 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 across the circle. But the sound created the form. Another very Vedic Sanskrit concept, name and form, because the tonality created was the carrier wave of the object. Too strange? Oh, it gets a lot stranger than this. I haven't talked about anything strange yet, but I wanted to give people an idea of the kind of phenomenon that happens.